Honestly, if we were in the foxhole together, you think I'd ask you if you're a Republican or a Democrat? No, I wouldn't. I would just cover your back and make sure that you're cared for, right? Honestly, violence is prohibited no matter what. The 22-year-old suspect in Charlie Kirk's killing appears to have confessed to friends in an online chat before turning himself in. Hey guys, I have bad news for you all. Hey guys, guess what, guys? I'm sorry, but I am the one who did this. I mean, why would you do that? It was me. So here's the message. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all this.
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And he's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers with an update on two really big cases. But before we get to that, this is brought to you by AskALawyer.com. AskALawyer.com is a very effective way for you to get a legal opinion and have it at the ready. Say you have a dispute with your grandma. She's living in your basement, and you need to find out how to kick her out. Although that wouldn't be something you'd want to do because that wouldn't be nice to grandma, would it? But if you had somebody living with you, for example, and they're a friend and they're overstaying and they don't want to leave, you need to kick them out. How do you do that? How do you go to AskALawyer.com for $49. They'll walk you through the process. Or if, let's say you have some other kind of issue, you get a live, living, breathing lawyer, and for $49, it's an invaluable resource. If you're doing your own legal research, they have an AI component. So for $49, you got a legal library that would cost thousands to have. So for just pittance, you could become your own lawyer, basically. So go to AskALawyer.com, and they're a good outfit. They brought you eForm and eSign, which I use regularly. So go to AskALawyer.com. So Luigi Mangione. You remember Chuck Mangione? Da, 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 da. You remember that? The trumpet guy? Not the same, no relation. He was in court today, and guess what? A judge dismissed 2 murder charges related to terrorism. Crazy, right? When you think about it. But when you think about what his goal was, what was Mangione's goal? You know, what is terrorism? What is terrorism by its nature? It's to terrorize, right? Terrorize the public. You know, that's why, when you have a bombing of a bus, it scares the shit out of people. Or a crime on the subway, or crashing a plane into a building. It's designed to make the general public afraid. This is more a vendetta, and a vendetta for the purpose of changing a system, not to terrorize the public, right? Because he had a beef with the insurance industry as a whole. So he's not trying to terrorize, individual people or the general population. He's trying to affect change within or just take a grudge out on somebody who happens to run United Healthcare. So here's what happened. So the judge dismissed 2 murder charges related to acts of terrorism. Doesn't mean he's off the hook, mind you. The accused killer of the United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson, made his first appearance in Manhattan courtroom in 5 months. First appearance in 5 months. So he hasn't been in court in 5 months. He's been sitting in custody. You have the right to a speedy trial, but, generally, if you got no bond and it's a big case like this, you don't want to do something quickly, So we as lawyers want as much time as we possibly can have. So Judge Gregory Caro tossed out the most severe charge, first-degree murder, accusing Mangione of murder as a crime of terrorism. The judge said the evidence presented to the grand jury was insufficient to support the terrorism charge. And this is what he said. While the defendant was clearly expressing an animus towards United Healthcare and the healthcare industry generally, it does not follow that his goal was to intimidate and coerce a civilian population. And indeed, there was no evidence presented of such a goal. The judge wrote in a decision on Tuesday morning. So this is hot off the presses, ladies and gentlemen. You get it right here, right here. Prosecutors argued Mangione's actions intimidated or coerced employees of United Healthcare, but Caro rejected that argument those fears are enough to justify a terrorism charge. So Carroll tossed out a second-degree murder charge relating to the killing as an act of terrorism. So the judge isn't buying that, he buys probably that this is first-degree murder, and really does it matter in a sense? It really doesn't matter because he's still charged with murder 1. The rest of the indictment remains, with the judge refusing to dismiss another second-degree murder charge to which the accused killer has pleaded not guilty. We respect the court's decision and will proceed on the remaining 9 counts, including murder in the second degree, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office said in a statement following the ruling. In addition to second-degree murder, Mangione will be tried in state court on 2 counts of criminal possession of a weapon in the second degree, 4 counts of criminal possession of a weapon in the third degree, and 1 count of criminal possession of a weapon in the fourth degree, and 1 count of criminal possession of a forged instrument in the second degree. So he still has all these other charges, and he still could be looking at life. So his next hearing is December 1st. He's accused of... Remember, we saw the video, and I'm not going to play the video again because he doesn't need any more publicity on that. But he just went up right to the back of this CEO and shot him right in the back. Shot him right in the back at 6 a.m. on the streets of New York City. And remember, he was carrying a backpack, and they found him in McDonald's, of all places. And whenever you walk around, number 1, you have a digital footprint. And number 2, there's cameras everywhere. Everywhere. And that's one of the ways they got the shooter in the Charlie Kirk case. Now, that's another story we're going to get into in just a second. Keep in mind, he's also charged with 2 counts of stalking, firearms offenses, and murder through the use of firearm, a charge that makes him eligible for the death penalty federally. So this might seem like a small victory for them, but there's a big road ahead. There's an absolute big road ahead. So he's pleaded not guilty to the state charges in New York and Pennsylvania, as well as the federal charges. The simultaneous prosecutions put him in what his attorneys have called an untenable situation. And they've asked Judge Gregory Caro to dismiss the case or at least put it on hold. So, I mean, he's got a mountain in front of him, a literal legal mountain. He's got federal charges and he's got state charges in New York and Pennsylvania. And he could be subject to the death penalty. So we'll keep following this. He's being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. And he's got to appear in a Pennsylvania courtroom regarding the state charges there. So, I mean, and I don't know if my guess is they'll probably do it by Zoom, because why would they transport him all the way down there? Essentially, what the judge was saying by dismissing these charges, first of all, that's appealable. His ruling is appealable, and I bet the prosecutors will probably appeal that, my guess. But if he says it's legally insufficient, all that means is that just there's not enough evidence the facts don't really fit that charge, is basically what he's saying. So let's talk about our good friend, Mr. Tyler Robinson. Tyler Robinson is a 22-year-old gay male who gunned down Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk, he's a right-wing political and evangelical activist. Stooped in the Bible, that he would try to prove me wrong, and debate other people. And, he was effective at it, no question, but he had a point of view. This Tyler Robinson is a moron. So here's the deal. So Tyler Robinson is going to be probably charged in federal and state court. He's looking at the death penalty in Utah. And, I always think it's kind of silly for 2 jurisdictions to want to get a bite at the apple. And it really, what it amounts to is, we want to get our publicity as being the law enforcement agency that took him down. That's really what it comes down to. He is going to be in court to do an initial appearance in a detention hearing. So there's 2 things that happen in a detention hearing. The judge reads the charges on the record, or you can waive it. Generally, you waive reading of the charges because you can read and write English. I know what I'm charged with. And then the other thing is determine release conditions or detention conditions. And in this case, he's going to be held without bond. It's a death penalty case. There's just no way that he's going to be held or given any kind of bond to bond out. It's just not going to happen. Now, remember, his dad was a cop. I think his dad was offered, the reward money, and he turned it down because he was the one that turned him in. And rumor has it that Tyler Robinson admitted to his father that he was the shooter. And not to mention the fact that apparently, according to the FBI and the Post, the suspect in Charlie Kirk's shooting appeared to confess in Discord chat. I'm sorry for all this, read the message from the suspect's account, according to two people familiar with the message and the screenshots. The 22-year-old suspect in Charlie Kirk's killing appears to have confessed to friends in an online chat before turning himself in. Hey guys, I have bad news for you all. Hey guys, guess what, guys? I'm sorry, but I am the one who did this. Why would you do that? It was me. So here's the message. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all this. How is it? Wouldn't that be hearsay? Wouldn't that be hearsay? No, it would not be hearsay. There's a thing called statement of a party opponent or an admission. So admissions are not hearsay, and statement of a party opponent is not hearsay. A statement of a party opponent, let's say you and I sue each other, and then you're caught on tape saying whatever. You can't put that in your own case, but I can put it in your case. Because it's a statement of a party opponent. You're the other party, I can use your statements against you. Well, the opponent, the state here is the actor or the party, and the party opponent would be Tyler, and anything he says is fair motherfucking game. And they're going to go after him like nobody's business. So the message was sent Thursday. Hey guys, I have bad news for y'all. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all this. Give me a break. The message was sent Thursday night, about 2 hours before the officials said Robinson was taken into custody. A member of the group chat shared an image of the conversation with the Post and confirmed that it came from Robinson's account. The person spoke on the condition of anonymity for fear of harassment. Discord providers provided a copy of the message with the confession to authorities, according to a person familiar with the company's interaction with law enforcement. These things can be self-authenticating. In other words, you don't have to worry about, any kind of foundational objection. And by that, I mean, to get a piece of evidence in, it has to have certain guarantees of trustworthiness. You know what I mean? So in other words, a business record, that, you have the custodian of records or something with a seal on it from the state. So it is what you say it is. These kinds of records coming from the company are what they call self-authenticating documents. So are emails. So Robinson was arrested like 33 hours after the manhunt accused of fatally shooting one of the country's most prominent conservative activists. Utah governor said over the weekend that Robinson's motive is still under investigation, but that suspect appears to have a leftist ideology. And, there's been a lot of talk lately about left and right, violence. So whether you're the guy that, killed a couple of Democratic legislators here in Minnesota, that happened not that long ago, or you're some nut job taking out Charlie Kirk, it's reprehensible no matter how you slice it. And you need to be held accountable. Honestly, violence is prohibited no matter what. The Discord conversation shared with the Post shows members of the group chat reacting to the Kirk shooting on Wednesday. Before the news broke that Robinson was allegedly involved, the group included about 30 people, according to the person who provided the screenshots. Charlie Kirk got shot, one friend wrote. I just saw this video. Holy shit. Bro didn't deserve to get to go out like that. Sad. See, even if you're a leftist, left and right, come on. Honestly, if we were in the foxhole together, you think I'd ask you if you're a fucking Republican or a Democrat? No, I wouldn't. I would just cover your back and make sure that you're cared for, right? So the only response from Robinson's account came the next day with the message announcing bad news. I'm surrendering through a sheriff friend in a few moments. The message posted at 7:57 local time. Thanks for all the good times and laughs. You've all been so amazing. Thank you all for everything. So Tyler knows he's not getting out and probably won't be able to post anything for quite some time, if ever again. No one responded to Robinson that night, according to the screenshots obtained by the Post. But the next day, one friend wrote that the apparent confession seemed to be true. The friend asked a group of members pray for Tyler and his repentance. While Charlie Kirk's politics were not acceptable to some, I ask that we all say a prayer for him and his family during these confusing times. The New York Times reported on a conversation in a different Discord chat group earlier that day. In that conversation, Robinson joked that a doppelganger was trying to get him in trouble after law enforcement released images of a shooting suspect who resembled Robinson. Cox confirmed the existence of that conversation on Sunday and said that Robinson's friends did not believe it was actually him at that point, and the person who provided the other Discord messages to the Post said they are from a different group. This is just amazing, honestly. What do you do as a defense lawyer with this? I think you say it was a doppelganger. Somebody hacked into my account, blah, blah, blah. But they can pretty much tell, by getting into the IP address where this was sent from and all that kind of stuff. So there's a way to authenticate where the message came from. I did get a message from somebody saying that I was saying something bad about Charlie Kirk. And I just want to go on the record and say, I don't have any ill will towards Charlie Kirk at all. I mean, he appears to be, a fine, upstanding husband and father, and he's a man of God, and he, preaches the Bible and quotes Bible verses like they're, a grocery list. Fine. Did I agree with his politics? Hell no. Not at all. I mean, some of the stuff he said was obviously common sense, right? I do think the left has gone a little too far with some things, like you want some 230-pound transgender man, playing volleyball with your daughter who's 11. I mean, obviously that's a little extreme, but and the whole I have a dick and I can go into your bathroom no matter just because I wear lipstick. I mean, I'm not into that. I mean, fuck. Why don't we? Where did we get off track? Tell me where we got off fucking track. I didn't agree with Charlie said, but I think we need to dial it back a little bit, baby. We need to dial it back. We absolutely need to dial it back. I'll bet if I had dinner with Charlie and his family, we'd see eye to eye in quite a few things. I'm a Catholic, but do I agree with everything that comes out of the Vatican? Fuck no. Do I agree with the priests who do bad shit to little kids? No. But just because you don't tear down the temple because there's a few bad apples in it, And I'm not calling Charlie Kirk a bad apple by any means. He had a shtick going and he had a following. And it appears to be growing. I mean, this young conservative movement seems to be a pretty solid movement. But even if I vehemently disagree with him on something, and I couldn't tell you right now what that would be, I don't think that violence is a way to solve any of that at all. So whether it's Luigi Mangione gunning down somebody in the back like a coward, why don't you punch him in the nose and see what happens, Mr. Mangione? Or, Tyler, you little pussy. I mean, why don't you punch him in the nose? I guarantee you, his security detail would have ripped you limb from limb. Guess what's going to happen now? Firing squad for you, my friend. I mean, was it worth it? It wasn't worth it to me. I mean, all you did was unite their group. That's all you did. Like the shooter at the, I know I keep going on about the Annunciation shooting, but because when somebody does that, all they do is unite a community. They don't tear people apart. Sure, you break a few hearts. Absolutely, you break the heart of a parent who lost a child. And in this case, you broke a family apart. But guess what you did? You made their group stronger. You absolutely made their group stronger. Who looked stronger after the attempted assassination of President Trump? Trump did. Firearms are dangerous things, and it takes a lot of responsibility to own one, to possess one. And if you have one, you make sure that nobody has access to it that shouldn't have access to it. And if you know somebody that has a firearm that's like Tyler or that's like Mangione, or, you know, if you get any inkling on it, tell somebody. Be so nice if we got a hold of somebody before some of this shit happened and thwart some of these fucking plans, you know, because we don't need another Charlie Kirk or another CEO or another school shooting. I read there was like over 40 school shootings so far this year, and we just started school. Fuck, you know, I mean, we don't need that. So that's our legal update. Mr. Robinson's going to be facing mandatory detention, and you know, and he might have a similar deal. So it's been brought up whether or not there's like a terrorism component to Tyler's case. There may be federally, I suppose, but, you know, using a firearm to commit murder, you know, firearms are governed by federal law through the Commerce Clause. And, I mean, basically you can use the Commerce Clause to just about justify anything federally. But that would give him, you know, death penalty eligible. The unlawful use of firearms and violence for political aims. That's one of the things that you look for in a terrorism type case. And I think it's more readily apparent in the Charlie Kirk thing because that is political. And guess who was all around him? Tons of people. And if your goal is to silence people and to scare the shit out of them, I guarantee you that had that effect. But the other thing is in Utah, all you need is one aggravating factor to justify the death penalty, and putting all the other people in harm's way by firing through a crowd is, I'm sure, enough to justify the death penalty. 22 years old, death penalty. You know, I mean, stop. Love everybody. Fucking A. Buy him a beer, you know? Buy him a beer, pat him on the back, tell him he's full of shit, and move on. That's how you resolve your differences. You know, nothing bad happens with just a couple beers. Now, too many beers is a bad thing. But just that moderation component. Anyway. So we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, your bleeding heart, board-certified criminal defense lawyer. And make sure you go to CLR Bruce Rivers. Look at this. Nice frosty mug. We got all kinds of good stuff. So go to clrbrucerivers.com for all your merch needs. Sign up for Patreon, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, and we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.
Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. 23-hour lockdown, police is at my god.